All right, my next guest on the Peter Kirkpatrick Show for Harbour Radio is the very talented James Hewitt from Film Media, a videographer, wedding videographer. Hello, James. Are you there?
Yeah, hello, Pete. Thank you for having me back on this brilliant show. It's great to be back.
Well, I haven't seen you for a while. You were a live guest in the studio ages ago. That was probably a year or so back, if not more. And I suspect that as a videographer for weddings and functions, you're not doing a lot at the moment.
Well, I was like yourself on social distancing, so it's very different. Obviously, last time I was in the studio with you, which was amazing. So this is a new experience for me, an interview over the phone. It's great to be back on the show, and it's just a shame that there's no weddings at the moment. It's this COVID has really just changed everything, hasn't it?
Yes, your particular task as a videographer is you're really in the thick of things, aren't you? You can't distance yourself. I mean, I guess with a telephoto lens you can to some degree, but of course weddings are non-existent, and when they do come back, they're going to be possibly smaller, aren't they?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I managed to do a wedding just before. I mean, I've done two weddings this year, which is really unusual. I had a whole list of weddings to do this year, and obviously the majority of them have been moved to next year now. So next year's going to be a mental busy year. But in regards to wearing like PPE at a wedding, that would be something different, I suppose. And I can see it happening. It depends just on when the government says we can go back to it, and how they're going to do it. Is it going to be smaller weddings? I mean, this is the thing, you know.
Well, I mean, as a celebrant, you know, to sort of stand up there, did buy myself a mask, and my wife Debs is sort of taking the mickey out of it because it's one of these black ones with a vent, and you put a filter inside. And I thought, well, I'll get something just in case, and it does look a wee bit like a sort of Hannibal Lecter gimp mask. Um, which is not a good look, and I really can't see myself conducting a ceremony wearing that, but I don't know what the options could be, possibly. Really don't.
I mean, the thing I did think about is in regards to if we all have to wear face masks. I can just imagine a load of different suppliers with like face masks with their branding over the top. That'd be quite funny. Or like some wedding rings on the face masks. I don't know. It's going to be, when we go back to a normal, it's going to be a different normal, I think. I don't think it's going to be like the normal we know. There'll be no handshakes. There'll be like sort of like elbow bumps, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
That hasn't got the same sort of look about it. Just going back to the face mask, why don't we... Here's the thing for Dragon's Den. We can get rich on this, James.
Here we go.
What we do is we photograph the individuals and have that printed on the face mask, and then they put the face mask on.
That's brilliant. Let's do it.
Yeah. Should we pitch that to the Dragon's Den and ask how much we ask for? How many millions? How much do we want from that?
I'd say about 2 million to get going, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, okay, that'll do. That'll get us to Sri Lanka or somewhere on a beach.
That'd be lovely.
Yeah.
But in regards to the weddings, obviously being postponed and some being cancelled. Luckily, I'm fortunate enough not had to cancel any weddings. What I have done though is all of my weddings for this year are now next year, which makes obviously all the new brides for next year. It's going to be next year I'm out pretty much like three times a week at the moment, so it's going to be really, really busy. That's if this, the COVID thing has settled down, and let's hope it really does. It's not just costing the wedding industry, but everything really. Obviously, that's why we're doing this on over the phone today rather than being in the studio.
Yeah, exactly. I've been talking to a lot of people in the community, different aspects of it. People who have businesses, people who are just adapting, learning new skills, and I've been just trying to get some sort of real life stories, I suppose. And whoever you speak to, they have the same story but from a different aspect. And so whether it's hairdressers, whether it's retailers, whether it's suppliers of whatever they are, funerals as well, there's a lot of people that have passed away sadly through COVID or other things who have not had a proper funeral. And so in from with my other hat on, there may be loads of memorial services that will sort of need to be
Yeah.
done in order to sort of have a final public farewell. I think that because these are all ceremonies, they're all a public act of either saying cheerio or a declaration of love, aren't they? And
Yeah.
they will still at some point go ahead in whatever form they may be.
I mean, I've looked into the fact that I don't know what the future holds in regards to the COVID and going back to weddings, but I can see possibly going forward. I mean, I've looked into streaming live weddings. I mean, I know there's virtual weddings and stuff that have been happening since COVID has started. I mean, I haven't dabbled in any virtual wedding side of things, which is all like on Zoom and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be like when we get back. And as you mentioned before, in regards to the funeral services and ceremonies like that. Again, people do need to have that nice send off, and at the moment it's just not doable. It's tragic, really.
Yeah, there has been an official Zoom wedding in New York. The Americans obviously have a different way of doing things, and over there, different. It's easier to have somebody be the officiant as it is here. Over here, it's completely has to be done a certain way. Over in America, you can sort of become I gather you can become a clergyman by online thing and have the power to marry people, which you can't do here. But there was actually one done on Zoom, and they just had somebody pop in to sign the form, and everyone was happy. They had their day. Whether they reenact it another time, I don't know. But I've had inquiries for doing a ceremony of types on Zoom. And
Right.
according to the social media of people that I talk to, there's been a certain amount of discussion for virtual ceremonies, but very, very little has happened. I think people are just postponing. And then,
Yeah, I mean, that's what I've found. I mean, as I mentioned before, there's a lot postponed for next year. But again, we don't have a crystal ball, and we don't know what next year holds. Hopefully, things will start to have some sort of normality again. And I mean, I've spoken to brides who've had all their dates printed, their original dates for this year printed on things. I think I've even spoken to a couple who had their date tattooed on their arm.
yes,
I
saw.
know it's silly, but
Yeah.
they've obviously then can't do that date, and then it's just it's affected everything, as I said. So more positive next year, and let's just hope that we can carry on battling this COVID in a sensible, safe manner, really.
Well, of course, the problem for those postponing is for us, it's just literally another date. But for them, they may have 20 different suppliers that are all part of that day, and they've got to try and balance. Often they've picked certain people to do certain jobs: photographer, videographer, celebrant, whatever that may be, venue. And to get all of those that are available on that day, that's going to be the big problem.
Yeah, and I have noticed, though, I don't know whether or not it's the couple doing this or the venues doing this, where they've booked, but I've noticed that when couples have postponed, they've postponed to weekdays rather than weekends. I don't know whether or not that's a safer way to try and get your supplier for that date by doing it midweek or a Tuesday,
I think that's possibly...
That's a venue influence.
Well, I think that may be also a touch of that venue having already been booked for that date for the weekend. So they're sort of fitting in with whatever's possible. You said you're doing 3 or 4 a week for next year, so maybe that's the way it's going.
I mean, the big problem, obviously, with it is in regards to people postponing. It has a knock-on effect because it's lovely. I want to do their weddings, and it's lovely to have them next year, but it does then block dates for the 21 couples, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I don't mean that in a greedy way, but I mean that in regards to everyone's in one boat rather than it would have been the 2020 brides and then the 20 brides and grooms, and then the 2021 brides and grooms. You know what I mean?
You can only spread yourself so far, James. So
exactly, yeah.
Now,
but no, I'm honestly missing weddings, and I can't wait to get back to it. I love my job, and I just want to get back, And I said you guys are the same, obviously, with what you do. And I mean, I guess you're missing being in the studio, and you're missing doing your funeral services and your wedding services. It's difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I've started to, learning every day how to do a show from home and these recorded interviews, and then I record my shows. But it's not quite the same. I love that buzz whenever I've gone and done a live show for Harbour, which I have done for 2 years now. And you go in
Yeah.
there, and 10 o'clock comes along, and the autoplay finishes its bit, and you've got to turn that off. And there's so many things to do within a few seconds, and you press Booker T and Green Onions on my Thursday theme, and there's a bit, and it comes to that bit, and I've got to talk, and usually I don't know what I'm going to say, which is the exciting bit, and I slide the microphone open and I talk, and
You just go for it.
I
Yeah.
go for it, and I've got my first track lined up, and after that I generally don't know what I just go with the vibe, and I love that sort of all adrenaline buzz, I guess. Which you don't quite get from doing it as a recorded thing. I still don't have a playlist. I still sort that out, but I know who my guests are, so I'm sort of, it's all a matter of adding bits of audio track together, sort of thing, and trying to work out how to make it sound nice. But it's been great fun doing it. But I'm looking forward to going back into the studios at Harbour. There's nothing quite like that feeling. But talking of enthusiasm, I mean, I know you're very enthusiastic with the old videography. How did you get started in that? What sparked you in that direction?
Okay, well, when I was in my teenage years, a lot of people don't know this. When I was in my teenage years, me and my friends, this was way back when YouTube was just getting going. We did like a crazy internet TV show, and we bought these like really cheap cameras, and they were okay. They did a job, and we just messed around with the camera a lot. And then from that point onwards, I learned how to edit videos, and only like I didn't. I mean, I learned a little bit. The proper editing side of things didn't come till later on, but I learned how to put that little show together. I mean, it was like a once a week show. It was nothing serious, just like a little mess around, talking about the latest movies and video games and stuff like that. And then later in my life, I decided that I wanted to go and do a degree. So I went to the Great Yarmouth College and did a degree in visual media. And from there, I learned obviously how to learn the different cameras and different editing software, and I went from there really. And once I finished uni, I was like, what do I do? I want to use these skills as something. I thought, well, weddings, and I thought I'd dip my toe in the water, and it just spiraled from there really. And obviously since then, the company's been around now for 5 years, and we've just come from strength to strength, and great reviews. I mean, it's, as you mentioned before, the buzz is the buzz you get when you go to these things, and obviously like you, the buzz with the radio. I get that buzz when I'm at a wedding, or filming someone's first dance, or that first moment when they see each other walking down the aisle. It's just, you get a buzz from it, don't you?
I'm so
yeah,
lucky. I do many things, both the weddings, the funerals, the radio, and some other stuff as well, and I get a buzz out of all of them. And I think that's very self-indulgent. I know there's a lot of people aren't lucky enough to get that, and so I am sort of, I realise how lucky I am, but it is a wonderful feeling that you're doing something you really enjoy, and if you get paid for it, well, that's even better, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the weird thing is, when me and my wife, we got married 10 years ago this year, it was our 10-year anniversary in November. We didn't actually have a videographer for our wedding day. We had someone film it on a camera, and at that time, I wasn't really focused into doing the video side of things for weddings. But like knowing what I know now in the wedding industry, if we had our wedding this year or next year, it'd be totally different to how it was back then. I'm not saying it wasn't a lovely day; it was fantastic, but it's just I've learned different things whilst being in the wedding industry, and obviously the filming side of things is very important to me. So yeah.
Yeah. Have you? Did you ever sort of consider making films as opposed to sort of weddings, but actually making, I don't know, getting together with a bunch of other people and actually making a short film or something of that type?
No, do you know what? That's never crossed my mind. I mean, I have done other things other than weddings. I think I've told you before. I think I filmed a wedding. I have filmed a wedding once before. No, a funeral, sorry, once before. And I filmed various dance shows and stuff like that, and theatre productions. But I've never filmed like a little mini movie or a film. I mean, that could be something I could look at in the future. That'd be quite good fun.
Well, of course, there is. I have had a bit part in a local film, Our Town, which has been going with Steve. Has been doing that for a couple of years now, I suppose. And he just gets a load of interested people, and he writes the script, goes out there with a camera, and films it sort of on the hoof, really, and it works. I mean,
Yeah.
it is a sort of a docudrama type thing. So, but for all the people that get involved in it, I mean, for the bits I've done, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I just get a call every now and then, get some words, go along to a location, you spend a couple of hours doing your bit, and off you go again. And 3 months later, it appears on YouTube.
That would be great. That would be great. It's. I'd love to do that, but at the moment, I think my main focus is obviously is the wedding side of things, and I'd love to do it like a little film like that, but it's finding the time, especially during a busy wedding season when you've got a lot of editing to do. As you know, I've got two small children, so they take up a lot of my time when I'm not actually at work.
Yeah,
So again,
absolutely.
one day that could be something to look into.
When you film a wedding, and you're there for, I don't know, 3-4 hours, something of that time, how long does it actually take then when you go back home and you edit it, to actually put it all together, find the music? Because you must have a lot of footage, I guess. You've got to sort of somehow condense that down into 20 minutes or something like that?
Well, what I do is I'm constantly filming all day at a wedding. So if I'm with a bride from 9 o'clock in the morning and I finish at about 9 o'clock at night, so that's a lot of hours. I mean, I'm not the record button's not recording all that time. I usually get home with about 4 or 5 hours of raw footage, which is a lot. And then it's a case then of putting it all in the editing software and going through what I think is the best stuff. I usually, with my weddings at the moment, I do 3 videos they get. They get a 30-second teaser trailer, which drops on social media so they can share it with their friends. It gets the hype excited ready for when the main video is ready. You get the full 1-hour video, which has all your speeches, your vows, and everything in between. And then you also get like a little show reel, which is about 6-7 minutes long. So they get 3 little videos, which is really good. And that has like various clips of the speech and the rings and stuff like that. So yeah, it takes a while. I'd say for about 5 hours of unedited footage, you're looking at least 4 days of editing.
Really?
Sometimes more, sometimes less. It depends. But yeah, especially during the busier times, it's tough to keep up with it all. But that's why I always say to my brides and grooms, during the busier times, it's a little bit longer on the editing side of things, if that makes sense. I mean, as I say, the filming the wedding is the easy bit. It's the editing that takes the time and it's the hard bit.
That's the same with what I do. I mean, a lot of the work is behind the scenes, and I suppose we're like swans, aren't we? Sort of gracefully on the surface and paddling furiously underneath the water. But
Yeah.
it's all good fun, and it's yeah. I mean, we'll look forward to the future with some optimism. I guess we'll all get back into this in some varying degrees. And so, how can people get in touch with you, James? What's the best way to contact you and ask about what you do?
Yeah, well, I'm on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. But the best way probably is my website, which is filmmedia.co.uk. And I still have some availability for next year and the year after. So if you are interested in having your wedding filmed by myself, get in touch and we'll check some availability for you and we'll go from there.
All right. So just in case they didn't hear that, that's Film Media, FILMEDIA at
.co.uk, filmmedia.co.uk.
Excellent.
And from there, you've got links to my Facebook and my Instagram and Twitter and stuff like that. But the best way would be probably the website, because there's a little form you can fill in and tell me about your day, and we can go from there, really.
Excellent. All right. Great to talk to you, James. I know you're going to get back to...
Lovely to be back on.
Going to be cutting your grass now and finish that off before you go off and do the rest of your day. But stay safe, stay well, and keep in touch.
Well, thank you for having me on, Pete. And
always a pleasure.
I look forward to seeing you after COVID, and it'd be great to come back to the studio and we can do a face-to-face one of these.
We can do that with pleasure. All right.
Lovely. Take care.
Take care. See you again soon. Bye.
Yeah. Okay, bye.